You know, Bob, it's kind of tough getting back to work after all the fun we had over there at Catalina Island.
Oh, it sure is, Bill.
When we got there, did you see those pretty girls in short bathing suits standing with the ocean in back of them?
Oh, was that the ocean in back of them?
Gee, what a place that Catalina is. And those girls over there are so young and fresh, you know, just like little buds.
Yeah, I saw you trying to collect a corsage. Say, how big was that bathing suit your girl was wearing? Well, my girl's was even smaller.
You know, Bob, if girls' bathing suits get any smaller, they'll have to go in the water. Yeah. I thought it was darn nice of you, though, to take your girl on that swell boat trip to Catalina.
Oh, it was nothing.
Gee, she rows well, doesn't she?
She could have done better with oars. Say, you disappeared that first night, Bill.
Yes, I did, Bob. I wanted to be alone, so I just sat in front of the window in the dark for hours, just staring out.
Gee, could you see her from your place, too? I spent the next afternoon lying in the warm sun. Did you see me out there?
Yes, I saw you, all right. Was that a bathing suit or a bet you had on?
Why, it was a bathing suit. Did you think the sleeves were too long?
Well, yes, I did, Bob. It'd be nicer if you let your fingers show a little. Gee, what an old-fashioned suit.
Why, Goodwin, I thought my bathing suit looked very modern since I had the skirt shortened. I think it looks better above the knees.
Say, Bob, did you see Skinny Ennis in his bathing suit? He's thinner than I thought.
Yeah, he's the only man I ever saw swim out of his bathing suit without touching the sides.
Skinny Ennis made a big mistake, you know. He walked out on the shore and opened a big beach umbrella. It was too bad it was such a windy day.
Yeah, but I hear he made a wonderful landing at the Union Airport.
Say, by the way, did you see me swim underwater, Bob?
Yeah, you were good at swimming underwater. Where'd you learn to grab your nose and hold it so long?
I've been on this program 3 years, and he asked me a question like that.
Say, but I'm glad we went over to Catalina. Those little trips really helped me. I wonder where I should go next. I wonder where I should go next. No coaching from the audience, please.
Say, Rob, did you see the Chicago Cubs training over there?
Sure, Bill. That wasn't a very high fence. I even brought one of the Cubs back with me. Ladies and gentlemen, as a special treat, it is my pleasure to present one of baseball's outstanding pitchers and personalities at present in training with the Chicago Cubs at Catalina Island, Dizzy Dean.
Thanks, Bob.
Well, how are you, Dizzy?
Fine, but don't call me Dizzy.
Why? I thought everybody called you Dizzy.
They do, but somehow in this program I resent it. You see, it's only my bullpen name.
Well, if it isn't Dizzy Dean, what is your right name? You know, the name on your bank account, on the checks you sign.
Oh, that's Mrs. Dizzy Dean.
Dizzy, you actually mean she wears the baseball pants in your family?
Yeah, and on her in this town, they'd look good.
Say, you're playing with the Chicago Cubs, aren't you? You know, Dizzy, I was just thinking, you with Mr. Wrigley and me with Pepsodent, we're both living off gums, aren't we? Tell me, does Mr. Wrigley make you work during the off-season?
Does he? Bob, you know those 3 little green men that dance around advertising his gum?
Why, yes.
Well, this winter there were 4 of us. Say, Bob, you seem to enjoy it when you were over watching our spring training. You ought to come over and visit me again on the island. Maybe next Friday.
I can't, Dizzy. That's the day I visit my brother on his island.
By the way, do you know my brother? Daffy?
What do? Use your own punctuation?
Listen, when I see a coma, I emphasize it.
What's that?
When I see a coma, I emphasize it.
Coma? I don't like to get personal. Did you ever room with Maxie Rosenblum?
Only when I went to Harvard.
Let's get back to the dull stuff. Say, Dizzy, I was sorry to hear you had a little trouble with your arm. What was the matter?
Well, my doctor thought it might be a bad tooth. He wanted to pull it, but fortunately a friend of mine had told about Pepsodent toothpaste.
Yes, go on.
Boy, on this program you have to sweat for your money.
Well, listen to this. I know a lot about baseball myself. When I was a kid, I used to pitch for the Eagle Knob Skunks. Remember that time I met you? I was with the Skunks then, and you helped me quite a bit.
Shucks, Bob, that was nothing. Anybody could have told you about Lady Esther.
Well, when I played ball in those days, I used to have trouble with my batting. I'd always swing and miss.
Didn't you ever connect?
Yeah, one day I hit a long drive to the outfield. I slid into first, then I slid into second, then I slid into third, then I slid into second.
What'd you go back to second for?
My pants. I got to be a pretty good batter, though. One thing those pitchers couldn't do was scare me away from the plate. I remember one fellow threw a ball straight at my head.
What happened, Bob?
I heard a rhapsody. Say, Dizzy, while you're here in Hollywood, is there anything I can do for you?
There sure is, Bob. I'd really like to meet Hedy Lamarr.
Hedy Lamarr, huh? Well, take a train to Kansas City, Diz. The line starts there.
I've been meaning to ask you, Bob, what's all this I hear about Hollywood wolves?
Oh, that's just a guy that likes to walk down Hollywood Boulevard and look at all the pretty girls and wants to talk to them and get to know them.
Oh, well, I'll be darned. I'm a wolf.
You know, Diz, you'd be pretty popular with the girls if you were as big and strong as I am.
Are you kidding?
Wait a minute, Dizzy. I think I'm as strong as you are. Let's shake hands and see who has the strongest grip.
All right. Put your hand in mine. Now squeeze.
Now will you put it in my pocket for me? Thank you, Dizzy Dean. And Dizzy will be back with us in a few minutes, folks. And now a funny little story about a funny little fellow whose name was Alexander. The 6 hits and the Miss Pauline, Professor Colonna, Bill Goodwin, Brenda, and Cobina, and Skinnay Ennis' Orchestra will help me tell you about Alexander the Swoosh.
Here comes little Alexander, what a funny-looking gander.
He's half swan and he's half goose.
Ha, 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 he's just a swoosh.
Oh, mother, mother, mother goose, why am I not like brother goose? The other geese just laugh at me and call me a catastrophe.
Swoosh, swoosh, Alexander is a swoosh, swoosh. Alexander is a swoosh, half swan, half goose. Alexander is a swoosh.
Whenever they play hide and seek, I hide my head 'cause I'm a freak. They say my pappy was a swan, a good-for-nothing vagabond.
Swoosh, swoosh, Alexander is a swoosh, swoosh. Alexander is a swoosh, big feet, big beak. Alexander is a freak.
They're so unkind, but I don't mind their slander. I'm just disturbed because I heard they're gonna cook my goosey gander.
Guess you'll have to run away. We know what they'll do if you stay.
I'd rather be a refugee instead of chicken fricassee.
Swan, swan, alligator's a half a swan. Swan, swan, alligator's a half a swan.
What would I be if my father were a gopher and my mother had been a raccoon?
Now, let me see, Cobina, half gopher and half raccoon?
Gosh, that makes me a goon.
Check.
Goose, goose, alligator's a half a goose. Goose, goose, alligator's a half a goose.
Suppose my mother was a badger, and suppose my father was a stag.
I'll run that down. That's half badger and half stag? Oh, sister, that makes you say you're lonesome, aren't you?
They're unkind, you need not mind their slander. You don't need to be disturbed.
The gonna cook your goosey gander.
Now, supposing my mother was a dragon, and let's say my father was a skunk.
Let me have that, bud. That's half dragon and half skunk?
You dig me.
Oh, brother, you ain't sober, are you, huh?
Swoosh, swoosh, Alexander is a swoosh. Swoosh, swoosh, Alexander is a swoosh.
Now, on my father's side, I'm a jaybird, and they say my mother was a turkey. I died very young.
Oh, no kidding. Half jaybird and half turkey?
Oh, that doesn't make me very perky, does it?
That's our lesson for today. Teacher, can't we go and play?
Yeah, but look, what's half swan and half a goose?
We don't know.
Oh, what's the use? What are you laughing at, Colonna?
Alexander is a
Alexander is a
Oh, you can really empty a studio, that, Jerry. That was the entire mob and Jim the cop, ladies and gentlemen.